Welcome to the Let's Heal Together podcast series, Caregiver Chronicles Unveiled. I am your host, Doc Steph. This episode is about understanding hidden battles of care recipients, dedicated to shedding the light on the often unspoken struggles faced by those who depend on care for their well-being. In this episode, we will discuss the complexities of care recipients' lives, exploring the challenges concealed beneath the surface and frequently going unnoticed by the outside world. Care recipients rely on assistance and support due to various health conditions, disabilities, or aging, and often engage in a silent battle that is not immediately visible to the casual observer. While there while their external appearance might not always reflect it, they navigate a maze of emotional, physical, financial, and social challenges that can be as demanding as they are hidden. These battles are hidden in two distinct ways. First, they are concealed behind the veneer of societal norms that often prioritize independence and self sufficiency. Secondly, these struggles are shrouded by the strength and resilience care recipients exhibit as they strive to maintain a sense of dignity and normalcy while confronting their vulnerabilities. It is essential for caregivers to understand the multifaceted issues they encounter daily and to encourage conversations that challenge stereotypes, promote empathy, and inspire positive change. So join us on this exploration of hidden battles, a journey that promises to raise awareness and create a space where the often overlooked voices of care recipients can be heard and understood. So thank you for tuning into Understanding Hidden Battles of Care Recipients. So I want to start with some tips, impacts, and suggestions. And I will share, some of my personal experiences. In the context of care recipients, hidden battles refer to the myriad challenges, obstacles, and emotional strains these individuals face, often without the struggles readily apparent to caregivers, family members, or even casual observers. These battles encompass a range of dimensions, including physical, emotional, financial, and social aspects. And they are frequently concealed beneath the surface of the care recipient's outward appearance and interactions. There are several reasons why these struggles are often overlooked or underestimated by caregivers and those around the care recipient. The first one is external appearances. Let's talk about that. Care recipients might not always exhibit visible signs of their struggles. They may appear well on the outside, leading caregivers and others to assume everything is fine. This discrepancy between internal battles and external appearances can mask the depth of their challenges. Yes, care recipients often possess a remarkable ability to present a facade of well being, even when they are struggling with significant challenges beneath the surface. This discrepancy between their internal experiences and the external appearance can be attributed to several factors. Let's start with social expectation. Society often places a premium on appearing strong and capable. Care recipients might feel societal pressure to put on a brave face, so to speak, and maintain a sense of normalcy even when dealing with pain, discomfort, or emotional turmoil. B, avoiding concern. care recipients may not want to worry their loved ones or caregivers. They might fear that expressing their struggles would lead to undue concern, stress, or a sense of helplessness among those around them. Now, this one was a really good one that my mom often did. So, for those who don't know by now, I used to caregive for my mom for close to, well, let's just say since 2008. And this was avoiding concern. This was one thing that she would do for other family members. She would appear to be okay and have them think that she could do certain things when she really couldn't. And so, what I knew of her as her caregiver, everyone else may have looked upon me as though I was not telling the truth. So that's one thing, when and then she would always express, like, even going into rehab one time, a couple of times, she would not bother the nurses or anyone. She would make up excuses. Oh, they're busy, and she'll wait for me to come and visit and start giving me a list of things to do for her while she's in rehab. And I'm like, these people get paid to help you. Oh, I don't want to bother them because, they're busy. So this does happen to avoid the concerns of others. C, desire for independence. Many care recipients want to maintain their independence and avoid appearing needy. They may downplay their difficulties to preserve their dignity and self sufficiency, which is another thing that my mom does very well. She's visually impaired and hearing impaired. So, because of her pride, she wants to appear that, she's independent and not come off as though she needs help with others. So, but she knows she can't do it. So she still rely on the caregiver to kind of step in and camouflage the things that she can't do in front of other people. And she wants to do a lot of stuff, but consciously is not aware that she can't do some of those things. So, and D, coping mechanism. Care recipients develop coping strategies to manage their challenges over time. These strategies include masking their pain, avoid discussions about their struggles, or adapting to their circumstances without overtly displaying distress. Why they do that, the answer may differ in many ways, but their coping mechanism often help, at least in my mom's case, help them to feel like they fit in with their social crowd. So they won't complain a lot about pain and things like that. I noticed with my mom, she would always wait till she got home and talk to me. And, she would tell me, or express the pain or discomfort that she's in. But others who have just seen it was like, oh, well, she was doing okay, because that's the facade that she put on. So the facade is her coping mechanism around other people, to make it appear that she's better than what she's actually feeling. And E is stigma and judgment. So fear of judgment or stigma related to their condition might lead care recipients to hide their struggles. They may worry about being perceived as weak or incapable. Just as I was just explaining, being in her social group, it makes her feel like she have to put on a facade just to fit in with the rest of the group that are doing, a little better or not struggling as much as she is, or at least they appear to be. So, what this implies for the caregiver is recognizing the dissonance, between external appearances and internal struggles is essential for caregivers. It requires a keen sensitivity and willingness to engage in meaningful communication or conversation. Failure to perceive these hidden battles can have significant implications, such as underestimation of needs. Caregivers who solely rely on external appearances might underestimate the extent of the care recipient's needs. This can result in inadequate support and interventions, leaving the care recipient feeling unheard and unsupported. Another impact would be emotional disconnect. Caregivers might not fully grasp the emotional turmoil their care recipients are experiencing. Without this understanding, they might be inadvertently overlook providing emotional support, which is as essential as physical care. Um, Another point is miscommunication. Assuming everything is fine based on appearances can lead to miscommunication between caregivers and care recipients. Significant concerns might remain unaddressed, leading to frustration and tension. Um, and the another point would be delayed intervention. Hidden struggles are left unaddressed can worsen over time. Delayed interventions can impact care recipients' overall well-being and quality of life. So you don't want to wait to the last minute to discover some of their distresses, some of their hidden factors. Um, so creating an open dialogue, caregivers, must foster open and non-judgmental communication to bridge the gap between external appearances and hidden struggles. It is paramount to create an environment where care recipients feel comfortable expressing their concerns, fears, and challenges. Active listening, asking open ended questions, and showing genuine empathy can encourage care recipients to share their experiences more openly. By understanding that external appearances often conceal complex emotions and challenges. Caregivers can provide the comprehensive support care recipients need. This acknowledgement of hidden battles goes a long way in promoting trust, promoting well being, and enhancing the quality of care provided. So let's move to number two, desire for normalcy. Many care recipients want to maintain a sense of normalcy and independence. So the desire for normalcy is a powerful motivator for care recipients struggling with health challenges, disabilities, or other care needs. It reflects their longing to retain a semblance of their preconditioned life and maintain a sense of identity and independence. This desire, it can significantly influence their behavior and interactions in various ways. A, downplaying difficulties. Um, Care recipients or loved ones often downplay the extent of their difficulties to themselves and those around them. They may intentionally minimize the impact of their challenges to preserve the illusion of normalcy and avoid acknowledging the extent of their vulnerabilities. I will always label it denial. I will always say about my mom, oh, she is in denial of what she can and cannot do, um, especially when it comes to hearing and visually and even physical movements and things. So, downplaying difficulty is very, very at the top of the list of facades. B, avoiding burden. Primary concern for care recipients is the fear of burdening their loved ones, particularly caregivers. They may believe that admitting the full scope of their struggles would impose undue stress or responsibility on those they care about. Now, this is true, but however, in my situation, uh, my mother was more in denial. And as far as avoiding burden, she would do that with other people outside myself. So, um, people that could have helped before, I got to her, had gotten to her, or when I was able to assist her, she wouldn't ask anyone else to do anything for her or help her. Be out of the fact that she didn't want to burden them. Especially my other siblings. Anyone else, she wouldn't ask for their help. And C, acting normal. Care recipients might consciously engage in activities they used to enjoy or attempt to participate in events as if nothing has changed. This effort to act normal is aimed at preserving a sense of familiarity and avoiding drawing attention to their condition. So, as far as my mother, yes, she would try to act normal, especially going to the doctors, going, into social events, and knowing, the whole time that some things she just couldn't participate in. However, she still enjoys bingo, although someone has to read her card and things for her. So she still feel like, she's keeping up with her community on social group. So, it makes her feel that way. Although her condition, has changed, she still wants to act as though things are normal. Indeed, independence preservation. Independence is deeply valued by most individuals, if not all. Care recipients can strive to maintain their independence by refusing help, even when it is needed. They might resist assistance to prove to themselves and others that they can manage independently. Now, in my mom's case, what she would do is, and you have to recognize it for what it is, and sometimes it can become irritating, like things that you do, your normal tasks, you got it down packed, you know how to do it as a caregiver, it's a routine. But with my mom, she would love to, I call it shouting orders, but what she's doing, it makes her feel like she's, preserving her independence is by being able to tell you the things you need to do. You have my glasses, you got my mask. Oh, do you have this? Do you have that? Or she's always reminding you of things, and I call it orders or demands because this is the way that she would express them. She it makes her feel like she's independent if she's telling you what to do. Although you may already know what you are supposed to be doing. And E, minimizing worry. Care recipients may worry about the emotional toll their struggles could have on their loved ones. They hope to spare their family and friends for unnecessary concerns and anxiety by downplaying their difficulties. And I have noticed, some care recipients that do that. And I think that's an awesome thing, because they are thinking about someone other than themselves. It's awesome, and it makes you want to help them because they're understanding the impact that it has and the toll it has on you. On the other hand, with those that are like my mother, the focus is always on herself and what she wants, and she's very demanding and not considerate of those who take care of her outside. Let me say inside the family. let me put it that way. Between me and my siblings, it's like you're called to duty type thing. So she's not worried about how much of an impact it's having on you. Um, but those one of the challenges you get through. But some of the challenges for caregivers is, while the desire for normalcy is understandable, it can pose challenges, on caregivers who are seeking to provide adequate support. As I was demonstrating, recognizing true needs. Caregivers might find it difficult to determine the actual needs of care recipients when they consistently downplay their difficulties. This can lead to caregivers underestimating the level of care required, which is often done. As I said, with, my mom, it was all about getting to understand, watching her habits or movements, facial expressions, body language, to get indications of what's truly going on, her behavior. But, that's for me, for my understanding as the caregiver. But for others, they would downplay it, and others wouldn't truly recognize what's really going on. So then you have the balancing autonomy and assistance. Striking the right balance between respecting the care recipient's desire for independence and providing necessary help can be challenging for us. Finding this balance is crucial for maintaining the care recipient's well-being. Having an open communication. The desire for normalcy can hinder communication between care recipient and caregiver. Care recipients might withhold information about their struggles, making it challenging for caregivers to fully understand their needs. So asking these questions and, taking time out to have regular conversations with them will also help you. Excuse me. Emotional well-being. The effort to maintain normalcy might prevent care recipients from openly discussing their emotional struggles and seeking emotional support. This can impact their emotional well-being over time. Now, with me, and this is me, this is something that I personally struggled with in caregiving for my mom, was, yeah, she would make sounds, and she would, say things, oh, I'm so tired. Oh, I'm this. But it would always come after she's asking you to do things that she could do for herself. But she wanted, the other person or me to do it. And so, which made it unbelievable for me, because the way she would dramatize it would be like, she was really, really struggling to do these things, which could come off as though she's acting. Um, but it's important to continue to pay attention, because some of it is real and some of it, they are trying to express it to you. So, having that conversation will help, for you to distinguish what's false and what's true. Supporting the desire of normalcy is also important, and we as caregivers can take steps to create a supportive environment. Encourage dialogue, as I was saying, ensure care recipients feel comfortable discussing their challenges and concerns, and validate their emotions. Respect autonomy. Offer assistance while respecting the caregiver's autonomy. Discuss options and allow them to make decisions about their care whenever possible. Educate and inform. I have to repeatedly, tell my mom about her conditions because, as I said, she's in denial. And definitely show empathy and understanding, ensuring the care recipient that, their struggles are valid and their feelings are heard. The desire for normalcy is a natural response to challenging circumstances. Still, caregivers must work collaboratively with care recipients to ensure their needs and overall well-being are supported. And one example of that could be, it may not be an elderly or aged person or in existing condition, a prolonged existing condition. But think about times where you had a temporary condition, for me, like a broken ankle, and I couldn't walk for almost 3 months. So, um, the fact of trying to remain normal in that situation was very difficult and very hard because I felt as though, okay, I'm not in pain anymore. I could do this and I could do that. And I couldn't because I wasn't able to put any pressure on that foot just to make it completely heal. But if you put yourself in that person's shoes, you could see, through some of the incidents or accidents that you may have had, how they're feeling. Number three, emotional resilience. Care recipients frequently develop emotional resilience as they adapt to their circumstances. This resilience allows them to cope with their challenges privately, making it challenging for caregivers, though, to fully grasp the extent of their struggles. The emotional toll of dependency on caregivers is a complex and deeply personal aspect of care recipients' experiences. They have to rely on others for their daily needs due to health conditions, disabilities, or aging. They often navigate a range of emotions that can profoundly affect their well being. Here are some of the emotional challenges caregiver care recipients commonly face, but also I want you to look at it as some of the challenges that you may have already experienced so you'll have an idea of what the care recipient is going through. A, feelings of guilt. Care recipients often experience guilt for burdening their caregivers with their needs and responsibility. This guilt can stem from the perception that they are causing inconvenience or taking away time and energy from their caregivers' own lives. You have B, loss of control and independence. Dependency can lead to a significant loss of control over one's life. Care recipients might feel that decisions are made on their behalf, contributing to a sense of helplessness. The loss of independence, autonomy, and the ability to perform everyday tasks can be emotionally distressing. C. Sense of isolation. Dependency can result in feelings of isolation and loneliness. As care recipients become less able to engage in social activities or leave their homes, they might experience a sense of detachment from their previous social circles. This isolation can contribute to feelings of sadness and longing for social connections. So, like with my mom, this is so true because of her dependencies. She really can't leave the home unless somebody take her out or take her around in the wheelchair, which is a lot of work, even just getting her ready for it. So sometimes she doesn't want to burden my siblings, and even helping her to get in a chair is very difficult, where she often falls. So she's isolated and not too many people come and visit her. So she depends heavily on the phone. So she calls her friends and family a lot. And it's only because she's lonely. And it's not as though she can sit and watch television for entertainment or anything because she's visually impaired and she's and visually and hearing impaired. So it's very difficult for her when it comes to a sense of isolation. Um, and then only with me, but probably some others, when you're dealing with a difficult care recipient, as my mom is, it kind of pushes you away where you don't, where as a caregiver, you would want to come in and do your task and leave. You don't want to spend that quality time with her because it's going to turn into something really messy. Um, but in the most part, if oftentimes it is very pleasant to be around them and having someone to come in and visit. Especially if they're not as difficult of a care recipient. And D, impact on self esteem. The loss of physical abilities And the need for assistance can erode self esteem and self worth. Care recipients might perceive themselves as a burden or less capable than they once were, leading to a diminished sense of identity and confidence. So, E, loss and grief. People often associate loss and grief with a loved one or someone close to us dying. But loss and grief can appear in many different ways. The transition into a dependent state often involves mourning the loss of one's former abilities and lifestyle. As you getting older, aging, this grief process can be ongoing and might manifest in various emotional responses, including sadness, anger, and frustration. Um, with my mom, it's anger, often anger and frustration. F, depression and anxiety. The emotional toll of dependency can lead to developing or intensifying mental health issues such as depression and anxiety. The uncertainty of the future and feelings of isolation and loss can contribute to these challenges. In my mom instance, she builds up a lot of anxiety, um, and also, especially when it comes to um, her dependence or feeling like she's not heard, or nobody's listening, and things of that, especially with her cognitive abilities declining, is really, really frustrating for her. And so she builds up this anxiety, whereas, things happening, it's almost like losing touch of reality sometimes with her. So G, impact on relationship. Dependency can strain relationships, including those with family members and friends. Care recipients might feel a shift in dynamics and struggle with the changes in how they are perceived by their loved ones. And it's also, in the case of my mom, I can't say everyone, with my mom, yes, it does impact her relationship with her children, with me and my siblings, because of the relationship and, the loss of her abilities, her frustration, her anger, and all of that. It takes a toll, so much of a toll on you that sometimes you just don't want to be around them. You want to help them, but you have to set boundaries and put limitations on what you can and cannot do. And then H, fear of burdening others. We talked about, often throughout this episode, the fear of burdening caregivers and loved ones can create a reluctance to express emotions or share struggles. This emotional suppression can lead to further sense of isolation and frustration. So, addressing these emotional challenges is essential for providing holistic care. Caregivers, family members, and healthcare professionals can be crucial in offering emotional support, encouraging open conversations, and creating an environment where recipients feel validated in their emotions. Okay, so caregivers can help alleviate some psychological burdens and contribute to the overall well being of those in their care. Number 4, stigma and vulnerability. Stigma is society's negative attitudes, beliefs, and stereotypes towards certain conditions or characteristics. In the context of caregivers, stigma often revolves around illness, disability, or dependence. This fear of vulnerability can further contribute to the concealment of their battles. This stigma can have profound effects on how care recipients perceive themselves and how they interact with others, including caregivers. First of all, you have the fear of judgment. Care recipients might fear being judged by others for their condition. This fear is often rooted in a societal misconception that health challenges are a sign of weakness or inadequacy. So, consequently, the care recipients may go to great lengths to avoid being perceived negatively. Marginalization. The stigma associated with certain conditions can lead to feeling marginalized or excluded from social circles and activities. Care recipients might anticipate being treated differently and as a result might try to hide their struggles to fit in. C. Self stigmatization. Care recipients may internalize societal stigma, leading to self stigmatization. They might feel ashamed of needing help or support, leading to reluctance to openly discuss their challenges. D, loss of identity. Stigma can also threaten a care recipient's sense of identity. They might feel reduced to their condition and, in response, may try to maintain the semblance of their previous identity by concealing their struggles because of being treated differently, in the way people perceive them. E, vulnerability and concealment, the fear of being stigmatized and marginalized due to health challenges make the recipients vulnerable. This vulnerability can lead them to hide their difficulties to shield themselves from potential judgment or discrimination. What this implies for the caregiver: um, creating a safe space, open communication, educating and advocating. Um, Caregivers can play a role in challenging societal stigmas by educating themselves and others about the realities of care recipients' conditions. Advocacy and awareness efforts can contribute to reducing stigma over time. Empowerment. Empower care recipients to confront stigma and take pride in their strength and resilience. Build trust. Developing a strong caregiver care recipient relationship built on trust is essential. So we go to number 5, which is communication barriers. I will not spend much time on this tip because I have been discussing communication throughout the Caregiver Chronicles episodes. However, effective communication between care recipients and caregivers can be hindered by various factors such as cognitive impairments, language barriers, or discomfort in discussing sensitive topics. This can lead to important struggles being left unspoken and unresolved. And so I just wanted this is something that kind of tickles me. It's funny to me, when we talk about communication barriers, and I'm speaking from the caregiver side. Often when I take my mom out, let's say to the doctor's office or somewhere in public, and we're in a waiting area filled with other people. So as I discussed, my mom is hearing impaired. Even using a hearing aid, she still really doesn't fully hear you. So she's whispering to you, holding a conversation, and undoubtedly she's going to ask you a bunch of questions and she's going to hold a conversation. But I'm the one that's having to speak up, so I'm loud, and everyone in the room can hear the conversation. And it leads me to not want to talk with her. But she always waits till we're out in public, and she does this, not realizing that I'm having to practically shout or speak loud, and everyone hears our conversation. I just think it is so funny how she does that to me every single time. So let's move on to number 6. Focus on practical tasks. When caregivers often focus on practical caregiving tasks such as medical needs and daily activities. While these are crucial, they might overshadow the care recipient's emotional and psychological struggles, which are less visible but equally important. And here's why: holistic well-being. Caregivers, care recipients' well-being extends beyond their physical health. Addressing their emotional and psychological needs contributes to a holistic sense of wellness and quality of life. B, impact on recovery. Emotional well being can influence the effectiveness of medical treatments and recovery. True fact. A positive emotional state can promote better physical healing. I feel good, so I'm going to do good. C, emotional toil. The toil, the toll, I mean. The challenges of dependence, health conditions, and lifestyle changes can affect care recipients' mental health. Ignoring these challenges can increase stress, anxiety, and even depression. D, communication and trust, addressing emotional struggles, open communication and trust between caregivers and recipients. When care recipients feel understood and supported emotionally, they are more likely to share concerns and needs. E, preventing isolation. Emotional support can help combat the isolation that care recipients often experience. It helps them feel connected and less alone in their journey. So, say if you're spending time with a loved one or being a caretaker or giver, um, it helps the recipient give them hope as well as to looking forward to something. So you spend your time with them and then you leave, but it gives them hope that, oh, she's coming back or he's coming back the next day. So it gives them hope to keep pushing forward. Strategies for balancing care. We mentioned before active listening. Pay attention to their emotional cues and provide a safe space for them to express their feelings. Empathy. Put yourself in their shoes and try to understand their emotional experiences. Um, Show compassion and validate their emotions. Um, and how about regular check ins? Set aside time for regular emotional check ins, not just practical updates. Ask how they're feeling and if there's anything on their mind. Encourage expression. Let care recipients know that expressing their emotions is okay, even if they're struggling. Offer reassurance that their feelings are valid. And then normalize emotions. Assure care recipients feel a range of emotions is normal and okay. Let them know they're not alone. All right, so we're moving to the last one, number 7, assumption of understanding. Caregivers and family members may assume they understand the care recipient's needs and feelings without explicitly discussing them. This assumption is a common pitfall that can result in miscommunication and a lack of awareness about hidden challenges. This assumption can also stem from familiarity, where the care recipient, past experiences, or even a desire to alleviate the stress of discussing complex topics. However, relying solely on assumptions can lead to several challenges. Incomplete picture of what's truly going on with the care recipients. By assuming you have a comprehensive understanding can lead to missing important challenges and struggles. B, overlooking hidden struggles. You know, hidden battles that care recipients face can go unnoticed when caregivers and family members assume they understand. Um, C, mismatch expectations. Care recipients may have unexpressed needs and expectations that caregivers are unaware of. This can lead to disappointment, frustration, and unmet needs. Pause for a moment because this is something that is really, really crucial, especially when caregiving for my mom. My mom thought process and her words aren't always connected. So she may, for instance, she may say, "Oh, I want a cauliflower pizza for dinner." to her care, she'll express that to her care recipient. So the to the caregiver. So the caregiver feels as though, may assume that she wants her to order her a pizza from a pizza restaurant or carry out. Okay? In actuality, she just wants a pizza from the frozen food section of a grocery store that you can put in the oven and heat up. And so you miss, and it frustrates her because, with my mom, she'll come back and be frustrated. That isn't what I asked for, and refuse to eat. So you have to, repeat back what she wants, because something often is missing in the conversation, her communication, and how she relay a message to you is often missing. So, so she's expecting you to know exactly what she's talking about or what she wants or what she needs. But if you don't confirm or validate it, then there's miscommunication and it leads to frustration of the care recipient. So D, barrier to effective support. Caregivers' assumptions might not align with the caregiver recipient's actual experiences. This misalignment can hinder caregivers from providing the tailored support care recipients need. Goes back to the mismatched expectations. So you have to kind of assume, and it's trial and error, because after a couple of times or 2 or 3 times of your care recipient doing the same thing, and then the miscommunication and caregiver not understanding, you become familiar with your care recipient habits and expressions and how they express things, to a point that it would become so natural for you to repeat back what they want, or make sure that you understand what they want or need. And E, communication breakdown, is all the same of the last two. Assumptions can lead to miscommunications again. And so it can also lead to, them not expressing their actual feelings if the assumptions are inaccurate. So effective communication and awareness, again, is active listening, ask open-ended questions, express interest, regular check-in, validate their perspective. Avoiding the assumption of understanding is crucial for effective caregiving. Care recipients' needs and feelings are unique and cannot always be accurately inferred. By prioritizing open communication, active listening, and a willingness to learn about their experiences, caregivers can build a stronger foundation for support. This approach ensures that care recipients receive the tailored assistance and emotional validations they require, enhancing their overall quality of life. Okay, so by creating a supportive environment that encourages these things, caregivers can gain a deeper understanding of the challenges their care recipients or loved ones are facing, and provide more effective and holistic support. So now we're at that point of actionable steps. So I always give at the end 3 actionable steps that we as caregivers can do in understanding the hidden battles that care recipients face. 1, engage in meaningful conversation. Start regular open-ended conversations with care recipients to learn about their thoughts, emotions, and challenges. Ask those open-ended questions. How are you feeling today? Or is there anything on your mind? Is there anything else I can get you? This allows care recipients to express themselves freely and give caregivers valuable insight into their hidden struggles. Number 2, educate yourself about their condition. Take the time to educate yourself about specific health conditions, disability, or challenges the care recipient faces. Understanding their medical and emotional situation will enable you to provide more informed, empathetic support. Research reputable sources, speak to medical professionals, and ask the care recipient about their experiences to gain a well rounded understanding. And the third is empowerment. Let me expound on that. Empathy involves putting yourself in the care recipient's shoes and understanding their experiences and emotions. Encourage care recipients to be active participants in their care decisions. Ask for their input, involve them in planning, and let them take ownership of certain aspects of their well-being. By combining by combining empathy and empowerment, caregivers can establish a deeper connection with their care recipient and gain a more comprehensive understanding of their hidden battles. Reflection time. So, here's a quote by Wendy Mass who said, "Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about." This motivational quote encourages empathy and compassion by reminding us that everyone has their own struggles and challenges that might not be immediately apparent. It emphasizes the importance of treating others with kindness and understanding, as we may not fully grasp the extent of their battles. It further reminds us caregivers to look beyond the surface and seek to understand the deeper emotions and challenges that care recipients might be dealing with. And the second one is out of inspirational scripture, comes out of James chapter 1, verse 12, and it reads, "Blessed is a man who perseveres under trial, for once he has been approved, he will receive the crown of life which the Lord has promised to those who love him." James speaks to the resilience and perseverance of those who endure trials and challenges, and it offers a sense of hope and reward for those who remain steadfast. This scripture underscores the importance of recognizing care recipients' struggles and acknowledging their strength in the face of adversity. So, as we conclude this segment on understanding hidden battles of care recipients, we have dug into the unspoken struggles that care recipients often face. We have explored the complexities of their emotions, the challenges they encounter, and the reason these battles often remain concealed. Through this discussion, we have learned that care recipients navigate a unique path, one that is characterized by the desire of normalcy, the fear of vulnerability, and the weight of societal stigmas. We have recognized that assumptions and preconceptions can hinder our ability to truly comprehend their experiences and provide the support they need. But amidst these challenges, we have discovered the power of empathy, open communication, and active listening. We have uncovered the significance of acknowledging emotional well-being alongside practical caregiving tasks. And we have learned that by understanding hidden battles, we can create a stronger foundation for meaningful and compassionate care. So as we move forward in the Caregiving Chronicles Unveiled podcast series, we will continue to shine a light on the stories of care recipients and explore the insight of experts who work closely with them. Together, we will uncover the intricacies of their journeys, sharing their triumphs, and work towards a more empathetic and supportive world for those who depend on care. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of hidden battles, a journey that reminds us of the beauty in understanding, compassion, and the profound impact they can have on the lives of care recipients. Stay tuned for more enlightening discussions as we dive deeper into the heart of caregiving and the incredible strength of those who navigate these hidden battles daily. So, I would like to take a moment to offer a blessing for all those who dedicate themselves to the care of others. To the caregivers who navigate the hidden battles of those they support, may you find strength in your compassion, comfort in your empathy, and resilience in the face of challenges. May your hearts be touched by the stories you have heard, the insights you have gained, and the understanding you have cultivated. May you carry forward the light of empathy, the power of open communication in your caregiving journeys. May your efforts be recognized and appreciated, your own well being nurtured, and your commitment to understanding the hidden battles of care recipients be a source of inspiration for others. May you find solace in knowing that your kindness makes a meaningful difference even in the quiet moments. May your path be illuminated with the blessings of patience, wisdom, and ability to truly see beyond the surface. May you continue to be a beacon of hope, offering comfort, companionship, and support to those who need it most. As we part ways for now, let these blessings be a reminder that your role as a caregiver is invaluable and your dedication is deeply appreciated. May your efforts be rewarded with inner peace, joy, and the knowledge that you are a guiding light in the lives of those you care for. In the spirit of understanding, compassion, and unwavering care, we extend our heartfelt felt blessings to caregivers. Thank you for all that you do. Don't forget to comment and let us know what you think, share, or like. Thanks again for listening to Caregiver Chronicles Unveil, Understanding Hidden Battles of Care Recipients. I am your host, Doc Steph. Peace and love.